Good evening, everyone. My name is Tahlia Perry, and I am the Head of Department for Health and Physical Education. To start tonight's presentation, I want to pose a question for you to ponder. How confident are you that your child in Class A is being marked to the same standard as another child in Class B, and then another student in Class C? We as educators acknowledge that making a judgment on a student's work is one of the hardest things that we have to do. We often make inconsistent judgments as we all have different interpretations and understandings of the achievement standard. Achievement standards describe the learning expected of students at each year level, and we use these standards when marking assessment tasks to determine whether the student is working above, at, or below the achievement standard. Tonight I am here to present an evidence-based solution to this problem. Through a review of academic literature, it was found that the implementation of quality assurance procedures enhances the consistency of teacher judgment. Therefore, tonight I am here to present a proposal for how our school can implement quality assurance procedures to best support our teachers in making more consistent, accurate and reliable judgments on your students' work. The Queensland School Curriculum Council conducted a research report and found that a key issue of assessment in Queensland schools is the consistency of teacher judgment. Research suggests that assessments have questionable reliability due to the variability, inconsistency, and subjectivity of teacher judgments. I'm sure you're all thinking, why do teachers make inconsistent judgments? Research suggests that the fundamental reasons why teachers make inconsistent judgments is because they have varied understandings and interpretations of the achievement standard. Consequently, this influences how teachers use the standards and criteria to inform their judgments on student learning. So what is currently being done to prevent teachers making inconsistent judgments on student learning? Currently, the solution our school has adopted is to engage in moderation meetings. The QCAA 2018 recommends moderation as a way of improving the consistency of teachers' decisions. Moderation is a process where groups of teachers meet to discuss and negotiate assigned grading of student work to reach a consensus about the quality of that work. The purpose of moderation is to ensure that assessments align with established criteria and standards, and to ensure that judgments are consistent, reliable, and based on evidence. Our school uses a type of moderation called conferencing. However, some schools use another type of moderation called calibration. In conference moderation, teachers mark their students' assessment tasks. They then select a sample to represent each grade and take these to a moderation meeting. At this meeting, teachers engage in discussion to decide whether the grade given to each sample aligns with the standards or criteria. Addy and Kalinowski 2016 recognised that this type of moderation is beneficial, as during the conferencing process of moderation meetings, teachers engage in discussion to develop a shared understanding of the standard and what qualities in student work best reflect each standard. However, the primary limitation of this model is that judgment making is a subjective process. Too often, teachers have varied understandings of the criteria and what they are looking for in student work. So two teachers may give two very different grades to the same sample of work. Therefore, research acknowledges that although conference moderation is beneficial as a post-judgment quality assurance, it does not necessarily assure the accuracy of the grade. The other common type of moderation used is called calibration moderation, which involves teachers marking sample assessment tasks prior to marking their own class set. Ross 2019 highlighted the effectiveness of the calibration model as it allows teachers to develop a common understanding of what each grade looks like before the marking process, so that teachers can ensure those standards are applied consistently. However, Addy and Kalinowski 2016 recognised that the limitation of this model is that there is no post-judgment moderation to ensure that consistent judgments have been made. I can hear you all thinking, why is moderation alone not a viable solution? This review of academic literature emphasises that moderation is only effective when teachers share a common understanding of the standards and what evidence they are looking for in student work. Therefore, we need to look towards a strategy that allows teachers to develop consistent understandings of the task and achievement standard. The QCAA 2018 acknowledges quality assurance as a way to develop a shared understanding of the assessment task and what is expected of the students. So what can we do to better support the teachers in this school in making consistent judgments on student learning? To better support the teachers in this school, I would like to implement quality assurance procedures. Quality assurance is a holistic process whereby teachers engage in professional collaborative dialogue at each stage of the teaching and assessment cycle to develop a shared understanding of the achievement standard and what evidence they are looking for in students' learning. Research recommends that quality assurance processes should occur at each stage of the assessment cycle. I conducted an interview with expert Mr. R. Ross to determine what quality assurance processes he has implemented and found beneficial in his school. I also reviewed the strategies recommended by the Queensland School Curriculum Council, as they were found to enhance the consistency of teacher judgments. I will now demonstrate how quality assurance processes can be implemented at each stage of the assessment cycle to enable teachers to develop a shared understanding of the task and achievement standard. Mr. R. Ross emphasised the importance of developing professional learning teams that work collaboratively to co-develop the assessment task. Research from Butel, Addy and Lloyd 2017 supports this, as they recognise that the collaborative creation of the assessment and criteria facilitates the development of a shared understanding of the achievement standard. Mr. R. Ross also acknowledged that professional learning teams should co-develop the unit of work after developing the assessment task, so that the skills and knowledge being assessed are going to be taught effectively within the unit of work. Prior to marking assessment tasks, Ross 2019 recommends engaging in calibration moderation to ensure that all teachers within the professional learning team collectively understand what each level of achievement looks like, so that they can enter the marking stage with a consistent understanding of the achievement standard and apply the standards consistently. Research from Addy and Klonowski 2016 supports this, as they recognise that negotiating evidence of the standard through annotation or marking previous samples enhances teachers' understandings of the standard. Research recognises the importance of developing a criteria sheet where the standards in the criteria rubric align to the achievement standards in the Australian curriculum. Our school already uses criteria sheets and rubrics that align to the Australian curriculum. However, research recommends that we as teachers should engage in collaborative discussions about what evidence denotes each standard, as the consistency of teacher judgments is enhanced when teachers know what to look for when they are assessing student work. The Office for Education and Early Childhood 2016 recommends that following the marking process, teachers should engage in collaborative moderation meetings to ensure that judgments made are fair, consistent, valid and defensible. Research also recognises that collaborative moderation following assessment ensures that judgments made are consistent between different teachers and classrooms. From this review of academic literature, it is evident that in order to best support our teachers in making consistent judgments on student learning, we need to implement quality assurance procedures at each stage of the teaching and assessment cycle. It is my recommendation that the teachers in our school form professional learning teams comprised of teachers who are teaching the same unit of work. These teams will meet once a week to engage in professional discussions about the unit of work and the assessment task, which will enable team members to develop consistent understandings of the achievement standard and what evidence they are looking for in student work. It is my goal to implement this on a whole school level. How I intend to do this is to provide a generic agenda for each week's meeting that each professional learning team can expand upon and personalise. The focus of each meeting will be on implementing a quality assurance procedure that reflects where teachers and students are in the teaching and learning cycle. The penultimate aim of this curriculum innovation is to support teachers in making more consistent judgments on student learning. By providing teachers with opportunities to engage in collaborative professional discussions and quality assurance procedures in the professional learning team meetings, research suggests that teachers should develop a more thorough and consistent understanding of the achievement standard. This should in turn enhance their ability to make consistent and reliable judgments. I have identified several progressive objectives that teachers must accomplish in order to achieve the penultimate goal of making more consistent judgments. The first objective is for teachers to develop a consistent and shared understanding of the achievement standard. This can be achieved through collaboratively discussing and unpacking the achievement standard. Using their understanding of the achievement standard, the second objective is for teachers to collaboratively design assessment tasks that allow students to demonstrate the achievement standard. The third objective is for teachers to design teaching and learning opportunities that teach the students the skills and knowledge they need to achieve this achievement standard. The fourth objective is for teachers to develop consistent understandings of what evidence in student work denotes learning at each level of achievement by regularly engaging in professional discussions with the members of their professional learning team. The fifth objective is for teachers to compare, discuss and moderate samples to ensure consistency between teacher judgments. So how does this innovation align with Australian curriculum and educational policy? By implementing quality assurance procedures, this ensures that all students are given fair, consistent and defensible grades. Therefore, we are fulfilling one of the professional standards for Australian teachers, which is make consistent and comparable judgments on student learning. By implementing a whole school approach to quality assurance, this allows all stakeholders within our school community to know that our judgments are consistent across every classroom. The QCAA 2018 also highlights that quality assessment is characterised by validity, accessibility and reliability. If we are making consistent judgments on student learning, we are reliable and therefore we are meeting the demands of the Queensland curriculum. So how do I plan on implementing this innovation? I plan on adopting McDonald's 2013 concept of gradualism when developing the professional learning teams and implementing the quality assurance procedures. McDonald 2013 recommends gradual change as opposed to a radical reform, as complete change can be confronting and challenging. In Term 2, I plan to consult with my colleagues to introduce this innovation and use their feedback to refine certain processes and procedures. In Term 3, I plan on providing professional development opportunities for staff on quality assurance so that they can develop a greater understanding of the different stages of quality assurance. Then in Term 4, I plan on trialling the weekly professional learning team meetings. I have drafted an agenda schedule for the Term 4 trial, which demonstrates how quality assurance processes will be gradually implemented at each PLT meeting to reflect where teachers and students are in the teaching and assessment cycle. These quality assurance processes have been substantiated by academic literature. However, to prevent any teething issues, explicitly structured resources and templates will be provided to each team. These are still in the process of being developed, but I will have these published under the Innovation tab on the school website in the coming weeks. In order to ensure the sustainability of this project, the following measures will be taken. In each PLT, there will be 2 members of staff, the head of department, and another member of the administration team who have received training in implementing quality assurance procedures. These personnel will lead these meetings. The reason for selecting 2 members is so that if one of the 2 leaders is away, the meeting can still continue, thus reducing the likelihood of having to cancel meetings. In the implementation of any project, it is important that there are opportunities to reflect and measure success. Success measurements will be taken in the form of reflection questions at 3 stages during the trial of the PLT meetings in Term 4. Team members will respond to the following questions. How well do I understand the achievement standard? And how confident am I in using the achievement standard to make accurate and consistent judgments on student learning? As you can see on the screen, the measurements of success will be taken at 3 stages during the trial of these PLT meetings. It is anticipated that with each measurement of success, teachers' self-reflections will demonstrate a dramatic increase in their understandings of the achievement standard and in their confidence in using the achievement standard to make accurate and consistent judgments on student learning. It is anticipated that this innovation will significantly benefit all stakeholders in our school community, particularly the teachers and the students. It is anticipated that through the implementation of this innovation, students will receive fair and accurate judgments that are consistent between every teacher. Furthermore, by engaging in quality assurance during the planning process, it is anticipated that students will receive learning opportunities that are targeted towards developing the skills necessary to demonstrate learning at the achievement standard. It is also anticipated that through the implementation of quality assurance procedures, the teachers in our school will become more competent in making accurate, fair, consistent and defensible judgments of student learning. Research also suggests that the professional discussions in professional learning team meetings will enable teachers to collaboratively develop more thorough and consistent understandings of the achievement standard and what evidence and student work denotes learning at each level of achievement. It is also anticipated that teachers will develop many assessment literate skills, such as how to collaboratively design assessment tasks, criteria sheets and learning opportunities that allow students to demonstrate their understandings of the achievement standard. Lastly, it is anticipated that teachers will form close cooperative relationships with their PLT team members and engage in professional discussions to enhance their professional practice. You as the parents will also benefit from this innovation, as by implementing this approach across the whole school, you can be assured that the judgments on your student will be consistent between every teacher and every classroom. At the beginning of this presentation, I asked you how confident you were that your child was being marked to the same standard as another child in another classroom. With our current practice, this is certainly not the case. I strongly believe that by implementing a whole school approach to quality assurance, we as teachers will begin to make more consistent, accurate and reliable judgment on your students' work. I hope that from tonight's presentation you now share that belief too. I would love your support with this project, and I can be contacted via email if you have any questions or suggestions. Thank you so much for your time. Have a safe drive home.